Hello and welcome to the transcription explanation of this design. It was done using Loren Sherman's fan-made Gallifreyan script, which uses a combination of dots and lines on these 4 different stems to make our consonants. Vowels are a little bit trickier. They're always smaller circles, and their location matters because the different vowels have different locations relative to the word circle and to the consonant stems if they're enclosed on one. And depending on which of these 4 consonant stems, the vowels can look a little different. For example, here's an E by itself, just on the word circle. Here is a B E, because this is a B stem. This is a J E, J stem, T E, T stem, and a TH E, because TH stem. Anyway, makes the most sense in practice, so let's go ahead and look at our design. So this script is read bottom counterclockwise, which is why we're going to start at the bottom of this design and read upwards, because that's more bottom counterclockwise, bottom up. Anyway, this is where we start. And this design is kind of tricky because of how I overlap lines to make the words kind of connect. So it's kind of tricky to figure out where our word circles actually are. So what we're going to do is we're going to follow lines and we're going to try to find these stems on them. So this circle, well, this kind of corner thing isn't one of these stems, so this is just a line. Let's look at this. Well, there's that stem, there's this stem, and then there's circles on the line. Okay, so here's our first word. So this is the thick line here is our word circle. Here's the bottom of it. And these two, this arc here and this arc here, are the first 2 stems we hit. And since they're a double line, so this line and this line is a double of the stem, we know it's 2 letters. And since they're different, this one is thinner and this one is thicker, we know they're different letters. So we read the thin one first and then the thick one if they're stacked like this. So this thin line has 1 line ending on it, 2 lines ending on it, 3 lines ending on it. So the lines, they can go outwards, inwards, be curved, they could be straight, whatever. But as long as they end on it, ends, they count as a line. So this stem with 3 lines is an S. And then this stem, well, a line passes through, but remember, only lines that end on it count. So this doesn't count. So this actually has nothing on it on the thick one. So that's just a T. So ST, continuing around, here's another one of these stems. And there are 3 dots here. And if we look, these 3 dots are closer to this stem than to this stem. Plus this stem has lines on it. So we know that these 3 dots have to go with this stem. So another arc with 3 dots, that is an R. And then we have a little vowel. Even though I said we read thin to thick, if there's a vowel on something, the vowel's always last. So even though this one is thinner and this one is thicker, you read the vowel second because it's a vowel. So it's right in the center of our stem. So it's either an E, I, or U, and there's no lines coming from it, so it has to be an E. So it looks like this. And E's and A's are kind of tricky on the stem. If we're to imagine the word circle continuing around, an A would be outside the word circle, or outside the center of the stem, whereas an E is on the line of the word circle, and centralized on the stem. So yeah, R, E, continuing around. Now we have another stack stem, so we have a thin line and a thick line, so they're 2 different stems. Let's look at our thin one. Here's 1 line ending on it, 2 lines ending on it, 3 lines ending on it. So that is an NG. And then we have this thick boy right here. And this is just the word circle, passes through it anyway, so it wouldn't count if it were lines, but just a thick, this stem is a TH, so NG, TH, so STRE, NG, TH. Strength is our first word. Now let's look at this thing. This is just a stem. And it is, well, it's, I guess it could look kind of like just OTH, but anyway, because it's broken here, we know it's not, because the line continues through underneath it, even though it's stylistic. I'm talking too much. This is just a line on the P. Anyway, here's our next word circle. It's got those stems here, and here's our first of the stems. It is inside our word circle line, so it is this stem, a complete circle inside our word circle line, and it's got 1, 2 lines ending on it. Even though this is just a circle, the line ending here and the line ending here make it count as 2 lines on this stem, so that is a P. And then outside our word circle, we have a little vowel circle, and since it's outside our word circle, it has to be an A, so like that. Or here's the P, A, well, J, A. because that's a J stem P. Anyway, so here's the A, because it's outside the word circle, because A's are the only vowels outside. And then we have this stem with 1, 2, 3 lines ending on it. 1, 2, 3. So even though this one is just a short little line segment, because it ends here and it ends here, it counts twice. So that is an S. Continuing around. Here we have another one of these stems with 1, 2, 3 lines. So that's another S. Continuing around. Here's a smaller circle, so it's a vowel. And it's right on the line of the word circle, so this is the word circle line. E's, I's, U's, all in one line. And it's got a line going towards the center, so that is an I. Then we have another little circle that's inside the word circle, so that has to be an O. So like this. And now we have a bigger circle. So this is a consonant, and it's hanging out inside our word circle, just like this one. And if they're not stacked, the thickness, thinness doesn't really matter. So this one is this stem with 1 line ending on it. So that is an N. So P-A-S-S-I-O-N, passion. And then we have our last word circle here. So here's the bottom of it. Here's our first stem. 3 dots on a circle inside the circle. That is an L. And then we have an O on it. So O is kind of like a bead on a string. They're hanging out on the consonant stem like that. So anywhere on this consonant stem, it would be an O. If it were outside, it would be an A. If it were within, not touching the line, it would be an E. So that is an O. Turning around, here's another shallow divot, just like this, this, with 1 line on it. So that is a V. And then last but not least, we have one last smaller circle on the line of the word circle. So that is an E, no lines on it. L-O-V-E. So strength, passion, love. And that is that. Woo!